Hi everyone, today I will reflect what I learned from week 1 to 5. I will briefly discuss the main Python concept I learned, explain how I apply computational thinking to a student grade calculator program, and reflect on procedural and object-oriented programming. Let's start with part 1, what I learned from week 1 to 5. The first concept I learned was decision structures. I learned that decision structures allow a program to make different choices depending on a condition. These include if else nesting decision and if else statements. I also learned about while and for loops. A while loop repeats while a condition is true, whereas a for loop processes each item in a sequence. One important thing I learned was that a while loop must eventually become false to avoid an infinite loop. Another important topic was lists and troops. Lists are mutable, meaning their elements can be changed, while troops are immutable, meaning they cannot be changed after creation. I learned how to work with lists using indexing, slicing, len, and methods such as append, append, and remove. I also learned about two-dimensional lists and list comprehensions. Next, I learned about modules which help organize and resolve functions. We can use them by importing them with an import statement. I also learned about file input and output or file I/O. This allows program to save and retrieve data. The basic process is open, process, and close, with R, W, and A used for reading, writing, and appending. Finally, I learned about functions. Functions allow large programs to be divided into smaller, manageable tasks. I learned how to define and call functions, use parameters and arguments, return values, and understand the difference between local and global variables. Overall, these topics helped me build a stronger foundation in Python programming. I then learned how to apply this concept through computational thinking. For this, I use a student grade calculator. The first step is decomposition, where I break the problem into smaller tasks, receiving marks, calculating the average, determine the grade, and displaying the result. The second step is pattern recognition. I identify the common process, input marks, calculate average, compare with grading rules, display grade. The third step is abstraction. I focus on relevant for information, such as the student name, marks, average, and grade, while ignoring unnecessary information. The final step is algorithm design. The algorithm calculates the average and then applies the grading rules. 80 for or above is grade A, 70 or above is grade B, 60 or above is grade C, and below 60 is fail. This experience helped me understand that programming is not only about writing code, it's also about analyzing a problem and designing a local solution before implementation. Finally, I learned about procedural programming and object-oriented programming. Procedural programming is based on function and follows a sequence of steps to solve a problem. Learn that this approach is relatively simple and can be suitable for smaller programs. In contrast, object-oriented programming or OOP is based on objects containing data and methods that define their behavior. I learned four important OOP concepts. Encapsulation combines data and method while controlling access to the data. Inheritance allows a subclass to reuse attributes and methods from a parent class. Abstraction hides complex implementation details and exposes only essential functionality. Finally, polymorphism allows different objects to use the same operation in different ways, such as a dog producing bark and a cat producing meow through the same style method. From this comparison, I learned that procedural programming focuses more on function and step, while OOP focuses on objects and their behavior. OOP can therefore be more suitable for larger and maintainable software systems. In conclusion, which 1 to 5 helped me develop a better understanding of Python and problem solving. I learned individual programming concepts such as decision, structure, loops, list, tuples, module, file I/O, and functions. Moreover, I also learned how these concepts can work together to solve a problem. The student grade calculator helped me understand the importance of decomposition, pattern recognition, abstraction, and algorithm design. I also learned that choosing between procedural and object-oriented programming depends on the problem type and complexity. Thanks for listening.